Hello, and thank you for joining our YouTube channel. It's a pleasure to have you viewing this channel. If this is your first time on our YouTube channel, kindly like and follow our channel. We put together this video to explain what we have learned running our cassava farm in the last 36 months. I'm sure some of you will be wondering, what's the big deal about cassava? You will never know the big deal until you go into it, and that's the reason why a lot of people that even go into that business on a large scales are never successful or always have to run out of that business after running it for some time because they do not have the required knowledge and experience to run the business. But I believe that you'll find this video very interesting and educating so that you can learn some one or two things before you go into your own cassava business. So please just give us some of your minutes to watch this video, and I believe it will be highly educating for you. So we are a cassava farm, and we are located in Agunbiade village between Ibadan and Abeokuta road. And the farm size is 10 hectares. If you can imagine a football size, that's 10 times of a football size. That's the size of the farm. That's a relatively small, big farm compared to the small holding structure we have for most farms in this part of the world. So when we were setting out, one of the materials that was very useful, and I will encourage anybody that want to set up a cassava farm to always go through, is also the IITA material on cassava farming. The 6 steps step for cassava farming produced by IITA. You can find it around YouTube. You will find it very useful. That material is a very useful material. It was very useful when we were setting out outside all our previous farming experience growing up, but those are experiences are local, and if you want to do a large scale farming, you cannot use that local farming approach. I can tell you that cassava farming is a very profitable business if it's well done or when you use the right methodology, but if you use the wrong methodology, you will lose money. I know someone that lost money. He ran away from this country after he has lost over 20 million naira in cassava business because it's a very delicate business. So I'll just quickly take you through things that we have learned, things that we've done. You can see, right, this is our harvest in year 2023 harvest. That's our first production harvest. You see when loaded into the vehicle and right on the floor. So the first thing you do in your cassava farming is even um, site selection. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of the pictures that were taken when we at initially before the site was cleared. Those pictures, we've lost them, so we have to start from here. But important thing, you need to select the right site for your cassava farm. Make sure you select a site that is sandy loamy and is not waterlogged or swampy. Cassava does not do well in a swampy area. That's one of the things we have learned in this business. So next, we did land preparation. Because of the size of the farm, we brought in a bulldozer to clear the farm. There was no way we're going to be able to clear that size of farm using cutlass and hoe. 10 hectares, that is 150 plus of land. It's going to take years or months or weeks before they will get that cleared for you if you are using cutlass and hoe. So we use the tractor to clear it. The next thing was planting. At the planting point, because we did not before we even planted, after clearing, the next thing was plowing. So we brought in a plow to plow the farm. We did not harrow or ridge the farm, well, because of fund constraint at the initial point. So we felt we would just plow it and set out and do our planting. So after plowing, we started planting. If you look at it, you can see some rope right across the farm. We actually use the line to set up our planting point. Those stems were planted along the various lines to ensure that it was a straight line, and also to ensure that the farmers or the planters do not skip any point, and we're able to get an accurate plant population. So we use rope to set it out. That rope ensures that they planted along the various lines. It was tedious, because you have to move from one point to the other, but that was what we did to get an accurate planting space and planting population. So after planting, we spray our pre-emergence herbicide to make sure that we're able to inhibit the growth of weed immediately on the farm. So pre-emergence herbicide was sprayed immediately within 48 hours of planting. Then this is our farm. This is still showing you the land preparation, followed by what it looks like after 2 weeks. So by the time we came back 2 weeks after, we could see some of these cassavas already growing here and there in the large expanse of land. There's no way our camera can capture the whole farm because it's so big. We could not capture the whole farm together at the same time. But this is just a section of the farm. In fact, one of the things we did in the farm is that we divided the farm into what we call bonds. Bonds are small division of the farm. So we have 13 bonds for easy identification and referencing. Because when you have a cassava farm, you need to be able to reference where exactly you are talking about. You want to know where exactly your workers have worked for the day, so or what area, and to even plan for our resources. So we divided into bonds. So this is the end of our week 2. Week 3, this is what it looks like. One thing we also observe is that this planting was done in May. What we observed was the area that have a very high water table, the cassava seemed to pick up rapidly, but that was a problem in the future. There was an issue with those areas later, but at the early stage, they had a quick growth maybe because of the water level at that particular point where we planted in May of year 2022. Then after 5 weeks, when we came back, we say have this, then you start seeing the weed coming up. So for the first 5 weeks, we didn't have weed problem in most area. Then this is when the cassava was 3 months old. One thing we seen is that those areas that had weed challenges, maybe that were not weeded early, especially from that week 6 to 8, had stunted growth. In fact, some of those cassava were crowded by weed. Some of them we lost them because the weed overpowered the cassava. So for farmers, it's important that you weed your cassava farm on time. And then you can see our farm 3 months at an area view of the farm. By 3 months, it was as high as a normal human standing, an average height, normal human height at 3 months, and they've already formed canopies, thereby shielding weeds. And at 4 months, you can see these are cassava stem at 4 months. At this point, it's very easy to weed, and at this point, you can use your post-emergence herbicide without any fear of damaging the cassava stem. This thing when we're 4 months old, and then at 5 months, we decided to just test the harvesting and see how much tubers we have. So some of the stems were uprooted, some just one or two, to see what was the weight. This one, as at 5 months, was weighing 976 grams. And then at 8 months, we had to harvest the water prone area because we then realized that a section of the farm is water prone and we didn't want the rain for the next season to affect it. So we had to uproot those ones. And these are some of the harvests. The yield for those water prone area was relatively low, the waterlogged area. We saw that the tubers were not big, they were just small tubers. We guess that was the impact of the too much water. And that's why it's important that when you want to select your site, make the right site decision. Select an area that does not have water problem. Interesting thing was this area had the early growth. Remember I told you when we planted it in May, these were the area that have started growing very fast. But by the time we got to September, the water level was so much and there was stunted growth. Even we lost some of them. We lost some of the tubers. Some of the tubers were rotting by the time we were harvesting it. So we must be careful of water. Today, we don't use that area to grow cassava again. We now use it to grow potatoes. And at 11 months, we commence the full harvesting of the cassava. You can see the cassava heap here. We just harvested some and they were packing it for sales. This first year, the cassava was sold raw. In our second year, which is 2024, we are actually processing our cassava into garri and selling the garri to the market. And then this is the load. Now this is called pompon. These are old small Peugeot pickup. They call it pompon, and that's a cassava well loaded into it. What lesson have we learned? One, site selection. Make sure you select the right site. For us, because of the size of the farm, we've seen the different yield in different areas. Different area of the farm giving us different kind of yield because the land is not the same across. It's not homogeneous. And that tells us that site selection is very important. The best yield we have seen is from area that has loose sand, loose sandy loamy, very minimal water, not too much water. They always give fantastic yield. Any area that has much water is less yield, and so we don't use such area to grow the cassava again. Two is for your land preparation and clearing. It is better you clear your farm properly before planting. Use pre-planting herbicide to get rid of those annual weed, all those stubborn grasses. You need to remove them. If you don't do that before planting, you will struggle to control them after you've planted, and they will badly affect your cassava. They will badly affect your cassava. So it's important you clear, and it's important. I would recommend that you use pre-planting herbicide on your farm. Plow. If you loosen the soil, you will get a better yield. Plow your land to loosen up the soil and ridge. If you have money, ridge it. It makes it easy for the tuber to grow, to tuberize, and also even for you to have a higher yield. Then your planting population, you must use a recommended spacing. 1 meter by 0.8 meter is what I actually recommend, and I think is the best. If your plant is too scattered, there will be problem with your weed control. You will spend a lot of money controlling the weed. If you have the right population, the cassava stem will form a canopy and it will shield the weed. So you will not need to spend a lot of money controlling weed. For your weed control, cassava does not like weed, especially at the early stage. People say cassava can grow anywhere. It is true, but when you have a very high weed problem, your cassava will not grow. It will be stunted. You see them tiny, and then it won't bring you the desired yield. So we need to make sure that our cassava farm is kept clean. You can use the manual method, you can use you can use the post-emergent herbicide to control those weeds. For us, we always use the two. Between when we plant and 8 weeks, if there is any weed problem, we'll use O. Because at that point, when you use herbicide, sometimes they kill the cassava. So we always advise that we use O. But by the time it's 8 weeks, we'll start using herbicide because we think herbicide is cost effective. If you spray herbicide today, for the next 8 weeks, you are not coming back. If you weed today, next 4 weeks, you need to go back and weed. And that's why we keep to herbicide once it's up to 8 weeks. It's important you have the right workers. Workers is a big problem in cassava business. If cassava needs weeding and there's nobody to weed, you will pay for it. You will not have the desired yield, and it must be adequately supervised. You need somebody that is looking over your cassava for you to get your desired yield. I believe that you find the video interesting. You've learned one or two things. We're already in another planting season, which is our year 3 right now in the August of 2024. We are planting our cassava again. We typically plant it every 12 months, and we are adopting some unconventional method this year because we've been following what the Malaysian and the Thailand people are doing. You need to see those guys' yield is far better than even what we're producing in Nigeria. So this year we are adopting some of their techniques, and we hope that 12 months to come we will share some of the videos with you so you see how the yield will be. Thank you very much. And if you have inquiry, you can always send us an email, and we hope that you enjoyed the video. Please like and still subscribe to our channels so that we can continue to give you this kind of content. Thank you very much.